Good evening, Bahamas. It's Wednesday, April 17th, 2013, and this is NB12. Coming up tonight in news, justices of the Court of Appeal refuse an application to extend protection of web shop operations against police interference. What's next for the web shop operators? College of the Bahamas students confront the Prime Minister outside the House of Assembly. The coroner's inquest into another custody death begins. A progress report on the Attorney General's Swift Justice program, and a regional perspective on how value-added tax may impact the Bahamas. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. I'm Christina McNeil. Your NB12 starts right now. Joining us. The Court of Appeal has rejected an application filed by attorneys representing 7 web shop owners. Attorneys were seeking a stay of Chief Justice Sir Michael Barnett's ruling to lift a conservatory order which protected Numbers businesses from police interference. Wayne Monroe argued that politicians would put pressure on police to act, while Alfred Sayers said his client fears the lifting of the conservatory order would cause him to lose business and result in bankruptcy. However, their arguments did not convince justices of the Court of Appeal. Vonique Toot takes it from here.
Following more than 3 hours of submissions, Court of Appeal President Anita Allen has refused to grant a stay of Chief Justice Sir Michael Barnett's ruling. She called the conservatory order granted by Senior Justice John Isaac superfluous, or in other words, unnecessary. She noted that if police have suspicions of illegal activities at those web shops, the order could not prevent them from going onto their premises and conducting investigations, or even arresting someone and initiating prosecution. She said those businesses would not need the order if they are carrying out legal operations, adding that no court can protect a business conducting illegal activities. However, appellate justices did expedite the hearing to May 24th. When asked if they feared if their clients' businesses would now be shut down, attorneys Wayne Monroe and Alfred Sayers told reporters outside court their clients were comforted by Police Commissioner Ellison Greenslade's assurance that police will act responsibly.
You would have heard me say that my client's fear is driven by some irresponsible politicians. I think the Commissioner of Police described them as such as well, trying to incite mischief. Well, the court isn't going to try to stop mischief, because we have a remedy if somebody is incited to mischief. We take comfort, as the court quite clearly asserted to us forcefully, and we could not deny it, that the Commissioner of Police has said he will act responsibly.
I'm very assured by the remarks of the Commissioner that he will not allow anyone to harass him or to push him to take any precipitous action.
Attorneys for the web shops wanted to secure the stay pending the determination of a substantial application before the Supreme Court to throw out Sir Michael's ruling. Sayers and Monroe contended that their clients are carrying on legal businesses, though Sayers did admit he has never set foot in his client's establishment. He described Paradise Games as an internet cafe that grants account holders unrestricted access to websites, suggesting that students use the web shop to conduct research. Sayers said his client sought comfort from the conservatory order because owners fear they would lose customer confidence and business if account holders felt they would be arrested if caught on the premises. However, Allen questioned if this was a reasonable fear. Though they failed to persuade the appellate court to grant the stay, Monroe says he does not consider this a setback.
No, because if there was some reason to think that the Commissioner may run amok, then the result may well have been different. I'm content to have told the court that from what the Attorney General has said, what Mr. Lauren Klein has said, who represents her, and from what the Commissioner has said, I could not say to the court that there's a basis for us to fear that the Attorney General will act unreasonably.
After hearing their submissions, the Court of Appeal president suggested that attorneys were dancing around the issues but failed to address what she called the elephant in the room. That is the gaming aspect of web shop operations. We asked Sears to respond to that claim. In fact, prosecutor Lauren Klein noted that they still don't precisely know the nature of those businesses.
And it is in the statement of claim that you would have more details in terms of the grounds and the evidence that you hope to establish during the trial.
Alfred Sears represents Paradise Games. Wayne Monroe is representing Percy's Web Cafe, Island Luck, FML Group of Companies, Asu Draw, Woodfall, and Chance. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
Well, about a dozen College of the Bahamas students stormed Rawson Square this morning, attempting to speak with Prime Minister Perry Christie regarding fee increases at the college. Police officers, however, denied COB students access to Parliament, forcing them to wait across the street in Rawson Square for hours as MPs debated changing the name of Labor Day to Randall Fox Labor Day in the lower chamber. Celeste Nixon was there as the Prime Minister met briefly with those students. Here's her report.
Dozens of COB students met barricades outside of Parliament this morning, barring them from entering the House of Assembly. However, students claimed they had no intention of protesting and simply wanted to observe the proceedings.
Intelligence is for us.
Okay.
So you can stand out.
So you're saying we are
outside of our barricades, and you can, as any normal citizen, you can stand and observe. Peacefully, you can stand there, but I'm not going to let you go inside. I'm not right now.
COB Union of Students Presidential Advisor Deandra Cartwright described their experience.
We were met with that's about what, 25 khaki suited policemen, and told that we are not allowed to do so. It's upon the discretion of the Speaker of the House. Now they claim that we want to protest. We merely want to sit in to hear what our members of Parliament have to say about the issues. We've been here before. This is not our first time being here in the House, so I'm trying to figure out why is it that now of all days we can't sit in on a session of the House? Or is it that the members of Parliament, those who we elected to power, do not want to hear what the young people are saying about our future in tertiary education?
COBA's president, Ernesto Williams, said students intended to speak with Christie about COB's increased fees, which were announced on Monday. COB confirmed yesterday that beginning this fall, student parking fees will increase from $20 per school year to $50 per semester for full-time students. Technology fees will increase from $100 to $120 for all students during the fall and spring semesters, and a new $100 capital facility development fee will take effect in January. The college said the council approved the fees on April 10th. Speaking to the group outside of Parliament when the House broke for lunch, Christie said the government has always welcomed students in the gallery. However, it is up to the police to use their discretion when addressing security concerns.
I don't know what intelligence the police has. They don't share intelligence with me in that regard. And I don't know what security concerns they have. The government of the Bahamas, we have no objection to College of the Bahamas students coming into Parliament. In fact, we think it's a plus for you to come to Parliament so you can see the real world. If you were in Parliament, I would have challenged you to tell me what is it I'm hearing about price increases? When, as Prime Minister, I don't know what you're talking about. The Minister of Education, who I just spoke to abroad, doesn't know what you're talking about.
Christie also denied having any knowledge of the fee increases, which he said were recommendations by COB's council, which have yet to reach his desk. He encouraged students to engage in the proper procedures to have their concerns addressed.
It is inconceivable to me that I would engage in any hostile, quote-unquote, act against college students without first talking to them. All right, and therefore, you know, to me, a big storm was created in a teacup. All right, and I don't understand what it's all about. Most certainly, no one has spoken to me. I had to come in this morning, ask my Minister of State for Finance. You know what they're talking about. I then went outside the house while it was going on and called the Minister of Education, right, and asked him if he knows what's going about. He says the first time he heard about it is when he was traveling and he saw it in the papers. All right, so these are matters that are easily verifiable.
Prime Minister Christie assured students that Minister of Education Jerome Fitzgerald would contact them by this afternoon. Reporting for NB12, I'm Celeste Nixon.
The inquest into another police custody death has started. Proceedings into the coroner's court inquiry into Jamie Smith's death had initially been set for March 28th, but finally got underway this afternoon with lawyers arguing several points. Jasmine Bonamy was in court and filed this report.
Appearing in court this afternoon were lawyers for Jamie Smith's immediate family, as well as lawyers for the 4 officers who are at the center of the custody death case.
Smith died at the Central Detective Unit on February 8. According to his death certificate, he died of asphyxia or lack of oxygen. An autopsy report indicated his neck had been compressed prior to his death. Lawyers Wayne Monroe and Ian Cargill represent the 4 officers who had contact with Smith prior to his death. Christina Galanos and Raymond Roll represent Smith's immediate family. A jury was expected to be chosen this afternoon, but Monroe indicated that he wanted to settle several issues concerning what evidence is admissible before a jury is chosen. The officers with an interest in the case are Inspector Ezra Maycock, Sergeant 2416 Keno Smith, Corporal 2285 Sterling Knowles, and Corporal 1287 Brian Roach. The officers, who are all stationed at the Central Detective Unit, have been placed on administrative leave. After more than an hour of back-and-forth arguments between both sides, Acting Coroner Janine Weish Gomez adjourned the matter until tomorrow morning, when a jury will be selected and a decision will be made on what evidence can be presented in court. Also in court this afternoon were Jamie's mother, Erla Smith Dorch, his brother Tracy Smith, and sister Cara Monker. The inquest is not expected to assess guilt or innocence, but simply state how the victim died and possibly make recommendations to suggest ways of preventing similar deaths in the future. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
In other court news, a jury has been chosen in the Kofi Goodman murder trial. A 1-man, 14-woman jury, including 3 alternates, was selected this morning after a nearly 2-hour process. Shortly after Supreme Court Justice Bernard Turner instructed the jury, the case was adjourned until Friday morning. Goodman, also known as Eduardo Ferguson, is accused of the murder of 11-year-old Marco Archer in September 2011. The Columbus primary student was found dead on September 28th. 5 days after he failed to return home from a trip to a neighborhood store. Earlier this week, Justice Turner ruled that Goodman could have a fair trial despite adverse publicity. On Monday, Turner overruled an application by Goodman's lawyer, Jeffrey Farquharson, to stop the trial, deciding that the pretrial publicity and public outrage would not prevent Goodman from receiving a fair trial. Last week, Farquharson argued that media coverage and blog commentary regarding the case had irreparably tainted the jury pool. Neil Braithwaite, Garvin Gaspin, the Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, and Darrell Taylor represent the Crown.